I downloaded and processed the CDC's COVID wastewater data and I found a few concerning things. The first being that currently only 1,156 sites are reporting. As a reference, about 7 months ago on November 6, 2024, 1,587 sites were reporting. And even more recently on May 23, 2025, 1,372 sites were reporting, meaning that in the past 7 months, 431 sites have been removed. Now, initially, this covered about 152 million of the population, which is about 45% of the country. And with these 431 sites removed, it's sitting just under 140 million people, representing about an 8.5% loss in coverage. However, despite there being 1,156 sites in the program, only 757 are currently reporting data, which means that just under half of the sites that were reporting data are now not reporting data. And for the population coverage, this is about a 28% loss in coverage of the population for COVID wastewater surveillance. So where did I get these numbers from? Well, if you go to the CDC's NWSS program, this page right here, and you download the data here, you can process it and get the numbers I got. For our peak coverage, there is this archived page right here from the NWSS, where the archive date is down there. And if you go to my most recent COVID roundup on May 23rd, and you zoom in on this location right here, that's where you can see the number of sites that we're reporting. So what does this mean regionally, because it doesn't impact every region the same? Well, the most predominant impacts are in the Northeast, where about 57% of sites that could be reporting are not reporting data. And this is predominantly due to New York State, where as of June 20th, 2025, they are not reporting data for 140 facilities out of 173. And this comes after the reduction from them having 204 sites reporting to reducing that down to 173. Here that is blown up so you can see it easier. Now they claim this is due to a laboratory data transition, but they haven't been reporting COVID data in many of these sites since December 30th, so the start of the new year. And when they first put up this notification for the data transition, they initially said it would only take a few weeks, but it has now been somewhere between 4 and 6 months depending on the facility. So I'm becoming less and less inclined to believe that this is true. But the Northeast isn't the only one that's impacted. The Midwest isn't reporting at 27% of their facilities. The South is not reporting at 28%, and the West is not reporting data in 37% of their facilities. But for the regional trends that we do have data for the CDC's viral activity levels, the Northeast is generally low right now. The Midwest is also generally low, but both the South and the West are starting to have increasing levels of COVID in the wastewater. But because so few sites are reporting data compared to what we once had just 7 months ago, I think this is something that really needs to be taken into consideration when looking at the current COVID wastewater data. Because when you reduce the number of facilities that are tracking the virus, you're going to be less robust to signals. And particularly in the Northeast, that's where we typically have our initial start of a signal. The Northeast has been an early indicator of our oncoming COVID waves. And because we aren't having COVID levels reported in about 57% of the facilities right now that could be reporting, we might be lulled into sort of a false sense of security where the COVID levels are much higher than what are actually being reported.